Selling AI websites is one of the easiest ways to make money in 2026, and I know this because I already made over $350,000 running this exact business model this year alone. Not only that, but I've taught dozens of people to do the exact same thing, and on average they land their first client in 10 days. You're still early, but if you want to become one of the few who actually make serious money in 2026, you need to start now because the window of opportunity is shutting fast. I'm going to show you the exact steps you need to follow in order to hit 10K per month in 2026, starting from scratch. Even if you're a complete beginner and have no idea what they're doing and has made a grand total of $0 online up until this point. First, I'm going to show you why selling AI websites is the perfect business model and how it's been the starting point for some of the most famous and successful entrepreneurs you likely watch on YouTube. Okay, the first thing we're going to look at is why the agency model is key. And put simply, the agency model is the most beginner-friendly business model out there. And you can see here, here's me working in my parents' bedroom when I started 6 years ago. And since then, it has changed my life forever. And I'm not going to go on and on about this, but I'm just showing you this because you can see the opportunity that's in the agency space, specifically the AI web design space, because this is me sitting on a yacht in Dubai with hyper successful agency owners, and that took me about 3 or 4 years to get there. Like in my wildest dreams, I couldn't have imagined I got there. And it all started here in my parents' bedroom doing the exact business model that we're going to be speaking about today. So who am I and why should you listen to me? Well, my name's Dylan Power. I'm not going to go on too much about me because this video is about you, helping you scale. But I started my agency 6 years ago. My agency is Maverick Socials. My coaching business is Agency Accelerator. And I actually have a holding company that buys other marketing agencies called Veneer Investments. And that is my three-pronged business approach to the marketing space. But you don't have to take my word for it. It's the business model that some of the most famous and successful entrepreneurs in the world have used to grow and to start. So obviously we all know Iman and we all know Alex Hormozi. These two gentlemen will likely be billionaires one day, and they both started with the agency model. Iman started with an e-com agency and Alex started with a gym agency. And speaking of billionaires, the agency space has actually already created them. Andrew Wilkinson. If you haven't heard of this guy, go and look him up. He's an absolute killer. And it all started with a marketing agency, a digital marketing agency, and he is now a billionaire. But let's take it one step further. So if you take something like dropshipping, the startup capital is high, $1,000 to $5,000 for ads and product testing. Your profit margins are low because of ads, refunds, chargebacks, reduced margins. Demand is low and unstable because you're doing trend-based gimmicky products. And the fulfillment, you've got customer issues, logistics, disputes. The conclusion here, it is not beginner friendly. If you think of the amount of dropshipping stores that are started by beginners compared to the amount of dropshipping stores that actually succeed, it is extremely low. Now let's compare this to the agency model. Your startup capital, very low, $50 to $100. Your profit margins are very high because it's a service-based business, and all service-based businesses' margins are high. The demand is high because businesses will always need marketing, they will always need websites. So demand for this service is going to be very high, and the fulfillment is simple and can be outsourced or learned very quickly. And the conclusion here is this is a super beginner-friendly business model for all the reasons that we discussed. So watching this video, this is going to be a super important lesson, and I want you to make your choice. Are you going to be an operator or are you going to be an opportunist? Because there are tons and tons and tons of opportunists out there, but there are very few operators. Let me tell you what I mean by that. At this point in your entrepreneurial journey, there's one decision that matters more than anything else. It's not going to be your offer. It's not going to be your niche. It's not going to be your outreach strategy. It's about how you show up. After working with hundreds of agency owners, one thing is very, very clear. Everyone falls into one of these two operating modes. Your results will depend entirely on which one you commit to. So let's look at operators first. Operators are the ones who build real businesses. They're not chasing trends, they're building systems. They don't need motivation to show up. Execution is just who they are. And here's what an operator looks like. They fail often, but they adapt and keep moving on. When progress is slow, they stay calm and analyze. And they are patient and long-term focused. They also follow the plan, even when it feels like nothing is happening. They ask for help, they use resources, they lean on the communities they're in, and most importantly, they do the work, especially when they don't feel like it. Operators don't hope for success, they engineer it. If you take this mindset, results become inevitable, and it's not about if, It's just a matter of when. So that is an operator. Hopefully some of them characteristics actually resonate with you. But now let's look at what most people unfortunately are: opportunists. The opportunist wants success, but only if it's convenient. They start strong, full of ideas and excitement, but when things get uncomfortable, they bounce. Here's what the opportunist does. They look for shortcuts instead of building real systems. They make excuses the second things get hard. They abandon the plan the moment results aren't instant. Super common. Spends more time consuming than creating. Quits, restarts, quits again. They don't stick long enough until they get momentum. They confuse activity with progress and they stay stuck. And this is a quote from Robert Collier. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. And unfortunately, opportunists do not repeat and do not stay consistent and do not put in the work in order to succeed. They are shiny object merchants. They jump from business model to business model when the truth is all the business models work. Every single business model out there works. Some are easier than others. Obviously, I've just discussed how the agency model is easier than dropshipping. But if you do not give it the time, if you do not stick at it in order to be successful, then you're just going to spin the hamster wheel and you're never going to see any success. And that's why I love this quote down here from Robert Collier. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in, day out. Now, let's talk about the dip, right? Let's talk about the dip here. Things will feel slow, messy, and frustrating in the beginning. That's not a red flag. That's the process, right? So when you start a new business model, most people go through this. So the first thing they have is excitement, then they have overwhelm, then frustration, then doubt, then they get a small win, and then they build momentum. That's generally how it looks when you start a new business model. But most people quit after these two steps. Operators push through. That's where growth happens. The dip isn't failure. It's the part where you actually improve and get better. Expect it, move through it, and keep building. That is what's going to separate the operators from the opportunists. And the thing you have to remember is everyone starts in the same place. That's really important. It doesn't matter if this is day 1 or month 6. This is your reset moment. Maybe you've tried other business models. Maybe you've tried other things out there. If you've been drifting between effort and doubt, this is your line in the sand. You've got everything you need: systems, support, strategy, but the mindset is on you. You can keep quiet being an opportunist, chasing dopamine, starting, stopping, or you can make your choice to be an operator and be the founder and be the operator that you always wanted to be. So watching this video, I want you to make your choice. So that's the first thing. That's super important, because before we get to the juicy stuff now, before we get to the secret sauce, you need to decide whether you're going to be an operator or an opportunist. Because I can tell you right now, if you're going to be an opportunist, it's not going to work for you. So make that choice right now and decide what you're going to be. So now let's get into the business model, and first we're going to start with the AI gold rush. We're living in one of the biggest technological shifts since the internet. Artificial intelligence isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's transforming business forever. AI is exploding and billions are pouring into it year after year after year. Everyone's using it, from startups to Fortune 500s, and adoption has doubled in the last 12 months alone. And the opportunity is just getting better and better. The AI market is set to grow from 189 billion to 4.8 trillion with a T over the next decade. That's more than a 20x growth, and the early movers are the ones seeing massive returns. But you need to act now. The strategies and softwares I'm about to show you will not stay untapped forever. You've got 12 months to get in this and hit this hard before the competition catches up. Right now, you're at the perfect time, right at the inception of AI. Think Bitcoin, the dot-com boom. You're right at the beginning, so if you're watching this, you need to take action right now. But how are we going to do that? Let's look at the business model, right? Forget everything you know about freelancing, web design, and traditional agency life. There's a new way to build a high-income, freedom-first business using automation, smart outreach, and AI. And it's not just theory, it's a proven model that works. I'm using it in my own agency, and I have countless students that have run the exact same system. The problem is, most agencies struggle because they slap a basic offer on a random niche and they ask business owners for their time in order to extract money out of them on a sales call. And the problem with this is they have a me mindset. They are thinking me, me, me. They're more concerned with their Stripe screenshots and making money for themselves. When as marketers, it's our job to actually grow other businesses. And that's fundamentally flawed in terms of how people think about this business model. But going back to business owners, they're sick being sold to, but they still need marketing, right? How are they going to grow their business? How are they going to acquire clients if they don't have marketing? That's where we come in, but I want to just go in even deeper on that and talk about why web designers specifically struggle. Because they're basically glorified freelancers who spend years crafting these crazy websites that actually don't make the businesses any money. They operate like artists, not business owners. They obsess over design, logos. There's no systems on the site to find clients. There's no recurring revenue. And every single month, they're refilling their bucket with new clients. Here's the mindset shift. You are not going to be a web designer. You're building a system that solves problems and prints cash not only for you, but for your clients that you're building these sites for. And this is how AI has changed everything for us. So let's look at the old model. Cold outreach, book calls, hard sales, make a sale, build site from scratch, and then start the whole process over again. The new model, we are doing warm outreach. We are easily selling these clients because we're bringing value to them in the form of an AI site built in 60 seconds. And then we're upselling the services we would have sold them anyway with the goodwill that we've created from that value prop. It's faster, smarter, and way, way, way more scalable. And you can use AI to build a website in under 10 minutes, preload potential clients' information, send them a super simple message that says, I made you a site, do you want to see it? Get paid $1,000 to $2,000, host it, also get paid monthly, and then this is the real kicker, upsell them for that lucrative MRR. So let's look at the killer AI workflow, right? This is your new entry point. What I want you to do is I want you to pick one niche, which is what we're going to discuss later. You're going to pick 1 to 2 AI website builders. You're going to build a lead list. Then you're going to reach out with the free website hook. When they agree to a call, you're then going to build the website. You're going to add the logo and contact information to the site, offer to fully complete it for 1 to 2K, then host it for a couple $100 per month, then upsell ads, automations, SEO, AI, whatever it may be. And you actually don't even mention AI. You just deliver results. Your offer stack could look something like this. Your foot in the door lever could be $1,000 to $2,000 for the sites. You upsell them, go high level, review automations, CRMs for $200 to $300 per month, and then ads, SEO, and AI for $1,000 to $2,000 per month. And just 5 to 10 clients on retainers can get you to 5 to 10K per month with this. In terms of who this is for, we've got beginners, because it's so damn simple. A monkey could sell this offer. Like, it is so simple. And even if you already have clients and you're trying to scale, this system is perfect as a front-end client acquisition lever to implement into your agency so you can book more meetings and close more deals. So your next question is, what niche do I choose? Well, you can see here, I have included tons and tons and tons of niches here on this doc, all over here. You can literally pick any of these niches. I'm not going to spend a ton of time telling you what the perfect niche is, because the truth is there is no perfect niche. There are goldmine niches within this strategy that work really, really well. I'm talking about accountants, roofers, I'm talking about home services, home improvement, landscaping, any niche that could be described as high revenue and bad digital presence. Now, lucky for you, 90% of businesses in America fit that criteria. So screenshot this, pause it, choose a couple of these niches, but also what's really important is, when you're choosing a niche, ask yourself these questions. Really, really important. Ask yourself these questions, and if it fits, if the answers are really good to these questions, then the chance is it's a really good niche. But even if you want to make it simpler and just simplify absolutely everything, 2 questions you want to ask yourself is, do they make a lot of money, and have they got bad websites? Fortunately, the answer is yes to both for a lot of niches. So now let's look at agency branding. Of course, this isn't massively important. What's important is you need to get outreaching and you need to book meetings and close deals. But obviously, if you've got good agency branding and a company checks you out, that's going to obviously be very good for you. So I've created a document here that shows you how you can get your agency branding, website, domain, logo, headshot set up in less than 2 hours. So this is exactly how you're going to do it. First and foremost, don't overthink the name of your agency. It literally does not matter. Use ChatGPT for ideas. You can always rebrand down the line. A prompt for ChatGPT could be, I'm starting a digital marketing agency that specializes in building out websites for local businesses. Can you give me a list of 10 name ideas for my agency? Literally just choose one. It does not matter. Domain and email. I use Squarespace for my domain management. Any domain provider will work. Try to go for .com or .io. Trick to get a good domain is add digital or media to the name, because whatever you choose, the likelihood is somebody already has that domain. So just add digital or media to it to get that domain. Logo and headshot, use ChatGPT. Just get something that looks clean, professional. Don't obsess over this. Use Aragon.ai for sick headshots. And then website, obviously you can just use the website builders that we're going to be using for our agency. I recommend Lovable. There's going to be tons more on that later. And your total cost for this is going to be about $50. So you can get your agency branding and logo and website off the ground for $50. It takes 2 hours. We don't need to cover anything more than that. It's really, really simple. So service, offer, and pricing. What you want to do is you want to build a lean offer that scales, okay? In this stage, building your AI agency, it's time to simplify how you deliver value and price your services. You don't need to have a million different services, a million different pricing points. Have it lean. Lean is simple, lean is good. So let's walk through exactly how you're going to do that using a blend of strategic pricing and a simple no-brainer offer. So the foundation of everything is obviously going to be your foot in the door AI website offer. And how it works is you're going to warm outreach to your niche. When a prospect shows interest, you leverage AI to create a killer website. You add their logo, name, contact info. You launch it to their domain in under a week. You charge a couple of grand and then you host it for $100 a month. This is not SEO. This is not an optimization offer. This is literally you're just building the site. So you just use this as your foot in the door strategy. Now, if you want to upsell, we're going to go through that now in a second, but your foot in the door strategy is just a site. A bad or outdated website loses trust, even if it's clean. It's probably not getting customers and sales for that business. So you need to leverage that and you need to lean into that in order to get sales. Now let's look at some upsells. So you could just sell the sites and make an easy 10 to 15K per month. That would make your life very simple. But most agency owners I speak to, they want to do the upsells, they want the MRR, they want to get the high ticket lucrative upsells. So options could be SEO, Google reviews, database reactivation. In terms of pricing for this, you could look at something like this. $300 to $400 per month for SEO and review campaigns. If you're just doing hosting and CRM, you could do $100 per month. This keeps everything lean, but allows you to have upsells and increases your LTV per client. And you can plug all of this into Go High Level if you like, turning your service into obviously a very scalable, repeatable system. If you want to take it up another level and offer ads like my agency does, you can offer Facebook, Google ads, but obviously this is a skill that you either need to outsource or you need to learn yourself. Some clients will want this. They'll ask you about it. Do you do PPC? Do you do pay ads? And you can just say, yeah, and then you can give them your packages. This is going to be obviously lead gen. This is where you can actually generate them revenue and grow their business. So obviously it's very, very valuable. Lead gen ads drive traffic, funnels and forms inside of Go High Level. Obviously, get them those leads, follow-up sequences via SMS and email, obviously get them more sales. And then a CRM integration is obviously advisable. If you're just starting out, you can charge 1 to 2K per month for Facebook and Google ads. Now, if I were you, I would likely just go with SEO or the Go High Level Google reviews. Most people want to do Facebook and Google ads, but it takes years to actually craft that skill and get good at it. So you're probably going to have a lot of friction in terms of service delivery. So it's up to you. If you want my advice, I would go with this, and then 6 to 12 months when you've got some momentum, add in ads. That's the upsells though. We don't really need to go into more detail on that. Okay, now we're going to look at the scaling blueprint, and I wanted you to take a look at this image here, the scaling flywheel. So obviously we've got niche selection, offer stack, outreach and prospecting, demo call mastery, closing and onboarding, automation and delivery, retention and upsell, and then refining your systems. So this is essentially the full flywheel of running this exact agency that we're talking about right now. And you're not just selling websites or tools, you're building growth engines for these local businesses. That's a really, really important caveat here. Websites in and of itself won't pique interest from business owners. It's what that website will do. That's a really, really important point. And this blueprint outlines how to generate leads, run sales calls, close high-value clients, build predictable recurring revenue. Every tactic here is tailored for modern AI-first agency operators who want to scale with efficiency and impact. Okay, lead generation. We are going to be cold calling because that is by far the best method at getting clients with this strategy. And we're going to keep it simple. There's going to be more detail on how we're going to cold call, but I'm just going to go over it very, very quickly now. You can use a power dialer. You're going to upload your list to that power dialer, and then you're going to dial leads, obviously, and pitch this service. There's going to be scripts and all that good stuff later. You can also use cold email. Cold email is something that we use in my agency that gets us 1 to 2 meetings a day. We use instantly. We send out around 1,500 emails per day. Ignore this, that's a typo. And it's just short messages, just literally pitching our offer to companies that need web development, and we get a ton of interest. You can also use Facebook groups. This is something that's worked well for me in the past. If you're just starting out, this is low cost and can be very highly converting. In terms of the close system, your first call is going to be to book the demo call. So you're going to call these people, you're going to get a feel for their situation, you're going to be human, be curious, be relaxed, research their site beforehand, compliment them on something, and then you're going to book in the demo call. The demo call is going to show the live website, and you're going to make sure you help them understand how many leads they're missing out on, and you're going to frame their current setup versus what they could have. And on that call, you want to uncover things like, do they understand the importance of having a website? Do they know a website will bring them more leads? Are they aware of how bad a digital presence hinders their business? Do they follow up with no-shows or missed calls? Do they have reviews? And what do they actually want out of their business? Do they actually want to grow their business? The answer should be yes. So we're going to show value without pitching. Positioning is everything. We don't want to ask for something, we want to give something. That's the whole purpose of this whole business model we're running. We want to give statistics on why websites are important. We want to show competitors' websites. We want to ask them questions like, you're not even showing up where your customers are searching, how are you expecting to compete? We can run things like go high level audit reports. If you're just starting out, probably wouldn't even do this. I just make them a killer website and go with that. And the thing is with this strategy, it's an offer that converts, right? So if you target enough companies that have a bad digital presence and you're offering them a done for you demo website, you're going to get a ton of interest. So it just works. You just have to put in the work in order to book the meetings and this will sell. But remember, this is hugely important. I sound like a broken record. You're not selling a website. You're selling a lead generation and a client generation machine. That's really important. When you're speaking to these business owners, you need to speak their language. They don't care about an online website that doesn't bring any customers. They want sales and customers and they want to grow their business. So keep that in mind. Closing like a pro. So the golden rules with this are you always want to collect payment on the Zoom call, right? Don't say the price until the end. And when you do say the price, don't start lowering it immediately because you're going to lose all authority. You want to frame it like this. You want to get them excited and you want to ask them questions like, do you think this would help your business? Do you want us to take all of this off your shoulders and let us do everything? And in terms of price anchoring, you can offer different packages. You can do maybe, let's say you have 3 website options. The top option is 3K, second option is 2K. So 3, 2, 1K. The top option can be with all your upsells included. The second option can just be a more built out website with maybe 10 blog posts, more SEO optimized. And then the low option at 1K could just be a standard website. And then when you do that, you price anchor and whatever they can afford or whatever they want at that time, they'll go for. As opposed to just pitching 2K or 2.5K, maybe they can't afford that or maybe they don't want it. It means you can actually get value and money out of these clients rather than letting people slip through the cracks. Onboarding clients, in terms of onboarding clients, you want to send them an onboarding email with a Google form. You want to send them a contract. You can use Go High Level with this. You want to add a CRM. You want to build and launch their site fast. If you're setting up automations, you can do this through Go High Level. You want to do that too. And tools you're going to be using are lovable.dev, Go High Level, Instantly, and Loom for any reports or audits or custom walkthroughs that you're going to do. So that is the full process. Obviously, I've hit you with a lot of information there, but if we go back up here, that is the full process of your agency flywheel. We're going to get into more detail now in terms of the outreach, in terms of the scripts, in terms of the sales system, but this is your exact agency flywheel that you need to be following and it works. So don't overcomplicate it, just follow that exact process. Okay, cold calling overview. This is how you're going to book your meetings, and I can guarantee everyone watching this is going to be thinking right now, I do not want a cold call. It is grim. Yes, it is. It's not sexy, but it works. It will book you 2 to 3 meetings easily with this strategy every single day if you just put in the work and do it. Now, a huge caveat with all of this is if you put a month of cold calling in and get your agency up to 5 to 6K, you can just hire commission-only reps to do it for you, but you need to put in that initial work because a commission-only rep is not going to work for an agency that has no clients and has literally just started. So you need to have leverage and you need to show them that your agency is actually growing and has clients and there's a proven sales system in place. So to get you set up for these calling campaigns, you need to detach from emotion. When someone shuts you down or someone rejects you, they're reacting to their past experiences with bad salespeople or pushy salespeople. They're skeptical about what you're offering. They're maybe having a bad day, or maybe they're just busy. None of it actually means anything about your agency, your future, what you're saying. So you need to keep it very, very neutral. And your job is to collect data and not be emotional about this. So keep it logical. And a common trap you're going to fall into is once you land a few deals, you're going to stop cold calling. That's something that you cannot do. You need to be consistent with this. So if you're going to do 100 dials every single day for a month, make sure you do 100 dials every single day for a month. But remember, if this is producing meetings, keep doing it. This is what's going to book you meetings and this is what's going to scale your agency. So don't stop after you get someone that tells you to piss off, or don't stop after you book a few meetings. You need to stay consistent until you hire this out because you need meetings constantly coming in. So the activation rule. What I would recommend is just starting. The best thing you can do with cold calling is getting in and just starting, because once that momentum builds, you can push through. And once you push past that comfort, you can really live on the other side of discomfort. And that's going to mean constant meetings, as I say, coming in for your agency. Just one call at a time, improving every single call, improving your sales ability. And I'm going to give you the script to use right now. And the method is super respectful. You're just going to be direct. You're going to be calling these business owners that don't have a website or have a bad website, and you're going to be very clear upfront and say, look, we've built you out a custom SEO optimized website from scratch. We just want to show you our work. That's all you're doing. Like, you're offering custom websites done for you, built out to these guys who don't have websites. So if they're going to tell you to piss off, that's their problem, because I mean, your offer is killer here. Like, you're offering them something very, very valuable. In terms of the cold call script, keep it lean, keep it punchy, adapt it to your tone. You don't have to use this verbatim, but I'm going to give you multiple different options. So here's an option. You can just pause this, or the document's going to be down in the bio if you want to go and get this document. The script 1 is if they have no website. Script 2 is, let me see, it's just a shorter version. Yeah, so script 1 is no website. It's a longer version. Script 2 is just punchier. Script 3 is if they do have a website, and then script 4 is just a punchier version of that if they do have a website. So yeah, I'm not going to go over these because you can just see them here. But yeah, this is what we've tested with our agency. This is what works. So just use these. Obviously adapt them for your niche, for your city, for your tone. But these work. So just use these. On the actual calls themselves, you want to match the lead's energy. So if they're excited, you match that. If they're calm and quiet, you slow it down and match that too. This builds unconscious rapport and makes them more likely to stay on the line. And what's really, really important here, what most people do not do, track your numbers. You need to track your numbers. You need to track calls made, conversations held, appointments booked, deals closed. Data gives you leverage. It removes emotion and allows you to scale logically. And this is how you start seeing results. Because you know, if you can book a meeting for every 30 calls, then that's very, very powerful, because you just know you need to do another 30 calls to book a meetings. So track your numbers. There's a tracker included in the sheet here, and tools to speed up this process. If you're going to scrape leads, Instant Data Scraper, verify the numbers. You can use clearoutphone.io. Optionally, you can use power dialers, AirPods, whatever. It really does not matter. The most important thing here is that you're just doing the work. If you do this, you will book meetings. That's by far the most important thing. So don't overcomplicate it. You can literally just pick up your phone and start calling numbers on Google. Just make sure you're doing the work. Okay, so what happens once you actually book a meeting? So this is the sales call script, okay? I'm not going to read this sales call script because it's a long script. What I will say is, once you do book a call, the most important thing is to frame it correctly. So when you book a sales call, the most important thing is to frame it correctly. And what I mean by that is, don't just jump on a call and show them a demo site and think they're going to pay you $2,000. That's not how it works. If they do not have a website, that's because they do not understand the value of a website. If they understood the value of a website, they would have a website. You're speaking to them because they don't understand the value of a website. So you need to reframe them. You need to take them from thinking A and get them thinking B. Now, how you do that is, and you'll see in this script, all I'm talking about constantly is, do you understand that a website can bring you leads? Do you understand that a competitor's website is bringing them this amount of leads? Do you understand the power of having a digital presence? Do you understand that 62% of Americans actually wouldn't trust a company with a website? And it's even closer to 70% of Americans wouldn't trust a company with a bad website. So you're trying to help them understand, by not having a website, they're burning cash. Now, also a website's going to be their 24/7 salesperson, so you're going to talk about that as well. But this is how the script is structured. You need to get them thinking that a website is a must. That's really, really important. So obviously this doc is included in the bio down below, or you can just screenshot this. I'm not going to go through the whole sales script, but if you can take anything away from this, frame the call correctly. Make sure they understand that having a website is extremely important, and then obviously show them the demo website, make sure the demo website looks good, etc. But that's all I'm going to cover there. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. We don't need to overcomplicate it. The thing with sales is you just need to get the reps in. The more calls you have, the more confident you get, the more authority you'll have. Super important. So get the reps in. It all comes down to booking meetings. And obviously on the call, you want to get the commitment, you want to take the investment, you want to get the price there, and you want to get them onboarded. But the most important thing is framing it correctly, because if you go into the thing, and the thing I forgot to mention as well, go into the call actually wanting to help the person. That will come across as authentic and genuine, and they'll like that. If you go into the call like some cocky, arrogant guy that just wants to get money out of these people, like, that's just not going to work. So go in actually wanting to help them, because that's one of the biggest paradigm shifts I've made in sales, and it works really well. Super quick on creating the AI sites. You're probably thinking now, okay, well, how do I actually create the sites? Well, you're going to use Lovable. There's tons of videos on the channel on how to use Lovable. You're going to go to lovable.dev, which I've outlined here, and you're going to put in a prompt. Now, I put in a prompt here. Your best bet is go to ChatGPT and just type in, give me a prompt for Lovable in the landscaping niche to create a killer website. you need to have a super detailed prompt. Like, look at how detailed this prompt is. Like, it's like 4 pages. That's really, really important. But once you've done that, and I can even put up on the screen now an example of a website. Once you've done that, Lovable is going to spit you out an incredible website. Make a few changes. Like, this is probably going to take you 20, 30 minutes. Make a few changes and then show them that website on the call. Now, once the client closes, then you can obviously build them out a better website. But for the demo call, I would do an hour or two on Lovable. It's AI based, it's prompt based, it's incredible what it can do. And then get them to build out a website, add their logo if they already have a logo, put that onto the demo site, and then show them that on the call. So again, pause here or get the doc down in the bio, and you can go ahead and use that prompt. Okay, so we've been through the entire video now at this point, and we started out, obviously, are you going to be an opportunist? Are you going to be an operator? Then we looked at things like niche. Then we looked at things like pricing your services, choosing your services, upsells. Then we looked at things like outreach methods, cold calling scripts, and we even looked at the sales script. But at this point, you've got the information, it's coming at you quick and fast. And what you have to decide now is, are you going to actually go and do this? So what you could do right now, you've basically got 3 choices. You could do nothing. Obviously, that's going to get you no results. You could go it alone. Who knows? Maybe you will get results, maybe you won't. Or we could possibly look at working together. And this is going to pretty much guarantee fast results because I'm going to show you what to do, but most importantly, I'm going to show you what not to do. And I'm going to save you 6 to 9 months of time. And here's how it works. You and I will set out your agency goals, and together we will make a plan over the next 3 to 6 months that will achieve them inside the program. And the ultimate goal here is financial, location, and time freedom. And I want to take you from your current self to the 2.0 version of you. So you can start seeing results like these current students inside the program. We have Jackson, who's doing $11,000 per month. Jordan, who's doing $17,000 per month. Isaiah, this actually needs it updated. It's probably closer to $30,000 per month. We have Tony, who's doing $10,000 per month. Sad, who's doing $40,000 per month. Carl, again, this needs updated. That's going to be a lot higher, $12,000 per month. Tala, $400K per year. Abe doing $10K per month. So if you want results like that, this is how we help you inside the program. So the first thing we do is we create your offer. Super important. If you don't have a strong offer, then your whole thing's going to be built on bad foundations. Then, as we discussed earlier, we're going to help you choose your niche, 2 to 3 goldmine niches that are going to work for this. I've tested over 30 niches in my own agency, so we'll help you choose those 2 to 3 niches. We're going to create your pricing packages, go into more in depth on what you can charge, what your margins would look like. I'm going to set you up with a lead prospector that's going to create your lead list, so you have completely clean and efficient lead list to go after these companies in your goldmine niches. I'm going to give you an AI web developer so you don't even have to worry about building the sites. I'm literally going to give you a proven, trained, cost-efficient AI web developer so you can just insert them into your agency. I'm also going to give you an appointment setter who's going to book appointments into your calendar. An appointment setter that is tested, tried, proven with this exact system. I'm going to give them to you. We're also going to set up email campaigns. I'm going to refer you to my email partner. It's going to set you up with email campaigns. It's going to send out 2,000 to 3,000 emails per day, which means you can have 2 to 3 meetings per day coming in for your agency on this exact offer. You also get a one-to-one onboarding call with me, 60 to 90 minutes onboarding call where we discuss all of this one-on-one with me. You also get a one-to-one onboarding call with my fulfillment director, Alex. Alex's job, his sole purpose inside the program is to make sure you're doing the work. I'm going to give you the tools, systems, processes, everything to make this a reality. Alex's job is simply to be on your case, whether it's on one-to-one calls, phone calls, Zoom calls, texts, making sure you're doing the work because you can have the best system, the best strategy in the world. If you're not executing, you're not going to get any results. You obviously get the one-on-one call with my email partner that we discussed up here. You get a one-on-one call with your AI web developer. You get unlimited access to these guys throughout. We also have a school community with 100+ lessons on how to implement and execute this exact system. And you get daily and weekly coaching calls. So at this point, you should be absolutely pumped because this system is so simple and so effective if you're either in the agency space or you're not in the agency space, either or. If you're just trying to make 10K per month online in 2026, this can get you there. And I'm not talking months, I'm talking weeks. Like this can work incredibly fast. So at this point, you should be absolutely pumped. And the next thing to do is go ahead and book a call underneath the video. Now, what I will say is this is an investment opportunity. So there will be an investment. Now, it's nothing crazy. It's nothing, astronomical, but I want you to keep that in mind because if you've got $100 in your bank account it's probably not going to be a good fit for you. What you need to do is go and execute what I just showed you in this video, land a couple of clients, get up to 3 to 4K per month, and then come to us and we can get you to 30 to 40K per month. So it is an investment opportunity. It's nothing crazy considering all the things you're getting. So keep that in mind. But the next thing you need to do is book a call. And I reckon you have the next 12 months to tap into this specific AI gold rush, this strategy within the AI gold rush, because right now, no one knows these AI web builders exist. And it is working so well, but it will not be like that forever. The market's going to catch up and eventually competition is going to come in and it's not going to convert as well as it does now. So you've the next 12 months to get in and make this a reality and scale this exact system. And you can be putting in posts like Isaiah, 5 new clients in 7 days, 4,300 just that week. That is the opportunity that's in front of you here. So your options are, if you haven't got a lot of money right now, just execute what I've just shown you in this course. Go out there, get your first 4 or 5 clients, come back and work with us if that's something you want to do. Maybe you just want to keep doing it by yourself, be my guest. If you are in a position right now in 2026 where you want to take this up another level and you actually want to scale and make serious money, maybe you want to get out of your 9 to 5, or maybe you have an agency and you just want to absolutely scale to the moon, then book a call below. I look forward to seeing you on there, and hopefully you found this video valuable.